All right, welcome everybody to our weekly deal breakdown. Charles, don't forget to hit go live on your Instagram.
We're in.
This is our weekly deal breakdown. So if you're new here, every week Charles and I will hop online every Monday and we'll do a weekly deal breakdown from a deal straight out of our pipeline that we have closed and funded on. And we'll walk everybody through that deal from A to Z, what went good, what went bad, our learning moments, how much we made, and our key takeaways. So today is on you, Charles. Super excited to see what you got going on in a recent deal breakdown. But real quick, give everybody a quick background on who you are.
Yeah, man. My name is Charles Stanback. I am known as the A to Z one man band wholesaler. So I've been wholesaling for about 3.5, maybe even close to 4 years by this point. Made a little bit over 3/4 of a million wholesaling houses, straight assignments, no flips, nothing like that. I do everything from pulling data to walking this thing to the closing table, bro. So that's me, man. Who are you? Who's the man with the beard? That's what we all want to know.
I do nationwide dispos. So instead of doing the whole business from A to Z, I do just one part of the business, and that's dispos. So we're helping wholesalers who get good deals go out and sell them to buyers. No matter the market, we can likely tap in and put it in front of the right people. But today is not about me, Charles. Today is about you. We're doing a deal that you, I guess, have recently done. Sometimes I have a little bit of an indication on what kind of deal we're doing, but I have no idea what deal we're. It looks like you're digging through your CRM right now, picking the deal.
No,
So,
we're good.
what deal? What deal are we? What market is it? Is it in? And we'll start with there. What market are we in?
Yeah, this is in Smithfield, North Carolina. It's a suburb outside of Raleigh, Johnston County, where I grew up. Kind of a smaller town vibe. Growing though, because Raleigh is growing. Yeah.
Okay, so this is, you would call it like a tertiary market,
Um,
maybe a secondary market.
Secondary market. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in Joco. So next, whenever you just a word to the wise. If you're in North Carolina and you're going through Johnston County, it's called Joco. Don't call it Johnston County. They're gonna know you're not from there. In case you ever end up in Joco, Chris, you know what to say. All
I
right.
appreciate you letting us know. Okay, so out there in Smithville, so question number one is, how did you generate this lead? How did you even figure out there was motivation, a seller wanted to sell?
Yeah. So, um, man, I know I sound like a broken record on this, but
It's good.
absentee owner list, man. I mean, that's my bread and butter. It has been for damn near my whole career doing this, and this deal came from that as well. So, absentee owner list, cold calling. Guy came in. His name is Mac. Cooler than a cooler, man. Older guy though. He was probably he had to be. He told me how old he was. Maybe 81, if I'm not mistaken. So older guy, but one of those older black dudes, man. That's just cooler than a cooler, but he wasn't just like a open book ready to let's just do it. He was like, I'll do it under certain conditions. And was very straight to the point at the same time. So nice guy, but very straight to the point.
So would you call him, because you're saying he's cool, but he's direct? Is that what you would just call him, a direct buyer? Or would you call him kind of red? What do
No,
you think?
I wouldn't say it was red. It was kind of a mix between red and what's green again?
I don't know. All I
Yeah,
know is red.
it's you're right. That's all we ever know. A little bit less than red though. Not all the way red for sure. Kind of a
Okay.
hyper guy, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you cold call this guy, older guy,
Yep.
says, "Yeah, I might be looking to sell. However, I wanted to kind of, you're kind of coming into my ball game. We got to play by my rules." So, what was his motivation? What were the kind of parameters that he set around how he wanted this to go, and why did that work for you?
Yeah, so it was actually he used to own the whole block that he lived. So he lived in this house, and the house that we were interested in was the one right next door, right? And he used to own two more houses down and the house across the street. That used to be a little store. So he's lived there for 40, 50 years. And he's just like, man, this is the last one. My wife is sick. I'm a little sick. So just don't really want to have to deal with this. He was renting it out by the room also. So he's
Okay.
got like four tenants in there. And he's like, I'm just kind of nothing's wrong with them, but I'm just kind of tired of dealing with it, if you will.
Okay. So I'm hearing a couple different motivating factors
Yeah.
that you would probably pick on. I don't know what that noise was. Pick up on, but
Yep.
first of all, he's an older dude. He's in his 80s, so we know he's aging out of the business.
Yep.
You said that he used to own a couple properties on the block. He's already liquidated, so you already know he's well on his way to letting go of his investments.
Yep.
Then
Yep.
you say he's getting sick, and you also say that he's renting out by the room. So knowing that he's older, has been doing it forever, he's getting sick, and
Yep.
he's renting out by the room. So that means he's not just dealing with one set of tenants; he's dealing with four different tenants in one property.
100%.
So in that situation, you would kind of push in on that motivation, like, hey, Mr. John, hey, Mac, you're getting older, you're getting sick, your wife is sick, and you're dealing with four different tenants in a home. Like,
Yep.
how has that been for you? Those are the
Yep.
kind of questions I would probably be asking. So how did that conversation go for you?
Yeah, I mean, I asked him something very similar to that, right? I mean, hey, look, it sounds like you got this, and this going on. How is this affecting your life right now? He's like, I mean, look, I'm not like, I'm not,
Your
you know, I'll,
impersonation of Mac.
I'll keep it forever.
Look, you're pimping-
Yeah, he's like, look, you little asshole. I understand what you're doing here, and I do want to sell it, but I'm not on my hands and knees begging you to buy it. Is kind of the impersonation that he was giving me, right?
So let me just ask you, because I like the way that you asked that question, and I want people to understand why you asked it. So you started with, "Hey, it sounds like," and then the question you asked, like, how is that affecting you?
Yeah.
I forgot how you framed it at the end, but it was similar to that. So why start off with saying, "Hey, it sounds like," and then how is that affecting you? Why would you ask a question that way?
Yeah, I mean, so that's something I got from Never Split the Difference book that everybody should read about negotiating. But you're paraphrasing what the seller has already told you, and it lets them know that you're listening. That's the point of doing that, right? Hey, sounds like you got this, and this going on right now. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, exactly, right. It gives them that feeling that, hey, this guy's actually listening to what I'm saying, right? And once you point those things out, it's like, okay, well, how is that affecting your life right now, right? Like, how is that affecting? Is it affecting you positively? Are you enjoying having it like this, right? Those are kind of questions you can ask. And what it does is it makes the seller think about it, right? The seller might not really be thinking about how deep it goes into them, right? How deeply they want to get rid of it, or how deeply it's affecting their life. So when you ask, it forces them to think about it and kind of regurgitate how it's really affecting their lives and what it will do for them to get rid of it.
Yep.
What you
Yeah.
mean?
And
Yeah.
in the way that you say, when you say, "Hey, it sounds like," or "Hey, it seems like," it gives you the chance to be wrong without it being, like you weren't listening. You're just saying, "Hey,
Yep.
this is how I received it.
Yep.
Did I have that right?" Instead
Yes.
of just like labeling it wrong, like, "Wow, you're in a really tough position," and they're like, "No, I,
Yeah.
I didn't say that."
Right. Right. You gotta
He's like,
let them
"It
get
sounds
that.
like," I'm taking a guess here. Am I right or am I wrong? So it gives them
Yeah.
a chance to position you the way that it should be.
That's
Okay,
right.
so you had that conversation with him. You kind of paint the motivation. He says, slow down, youngin.
Mhm.
It's not as bad as you're making it seem."
100%.
And then how does it go from there?
Yeah, so I mean, I end up talking to him as usual 4 or 5 times, right? He wants 55,000 for the property. I'm thinking, uh, he's not far off, right? Like I want this probably at 35,000, but he's not far off. I mean, there's flipped comps in the area that are selling in the 180 range, 185. So there's some space there. But the house is, bro, you learn doing this that sellers just really like have no idea on condition. Like
Mhm.
condition is probably the most subjective thing that you can ever imagine. Like condition is so subjective and like subjective to opinion. So, I can get some information from him. He's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it probably could use a roof, but other than that, it's, doing pretty good. And, they're living in there just fine, that type of thing. I'm like, have you done updates? Yeah, did a little ceiling patch and I updated a couple of the floors, and I'm like, I can tell, this is gonna need a lot of work when it comes down to it, right? So, I'm thinking, I end up offering 35 off the jump. He's not budging off of that 55 number though. Like just straight up, I'm not budging, right? Is what it is. So I do what and this is why I like deals like this. One of my favorite deals, bro, because I actually I met him personally at the house. Met him at his house, went in his living room, sat down with him. His house immaculate, man, nice clean hardwood floors. I mean, he was just sitting in there. Older dude, man. He's got the what's the little hat called with just the little front. You know what I'm
Uh,
talking about,
yeah, I
man.
don't remember
Yeah,
what it's
he had
called.
the Peaky Blinders hat on. You know?
Oh, that okay.
Yeah. The dress shirt tucked in to the slacks, the little chunky dress shoes. You know what I mean? Had to make sure you got enough cushion for them 80-year-old feet. And it's a cool black dude, man. He went to go play cards every day with his buddies. It's a cool dude, man. So I sit down in there with him, man, talk to him for a little while. We go to the house, and I'm like, Mac, this is the ceilings are. It was craziness in there, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's 4 different people. One dude, I walk into one of the rooms, he's just got Bush Light cans everywhere.
Hell yeah,
Bush,
boy.
yeah. Bush Light cans everywhere. Bed, TV. That's it. That's it for him, right? I mean, and there's a few other
All the
rooms.
man needs.
Yeah, man. All the man needs when you really break it down. But the ceilings are super low in some of the house, and the floors are like soft and slanted. Just definitely some foundation issues. So I ended up getting it locked up for 45,000 once I actually met him. And this is the key to going to see houses. Everybody doesn't like doing it. It's easier sometimes. You don't have to spend as much time on these if you do it virtually. I love doing virtual deals. Don't get me wrong, but when you get the opportunity, if you can go to a house, you'll almost always get a deeper discount, and the deal will be smoother because they've met you before, and there's just another level of trust there. So I always tell people or urge people to go on appointments and go to these houses if you can, because you're probably going to get a better deal. But yeah, I was glad. I love deals when I get to actually go to the house, man. So I was excited to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you get to put your eyes on the property.
Yeah.
You're no longer taking the seller's words or even photos, who could be a
Yep.
couple months back, or they just did a really bad job at the photos. But you
Yeah.
get to be there and really assess the repairs needed. So you were comfortable putting it under contract at 45. So what are you thinking? How much in repairs are you thinking? 60?
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those 60 to 80 balls, is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's another thing like that we have to recognize. Like, in a 1,300 square foot house, if it needs even just sometimes even just outdated houses, man, cost 40 grand to really modernize. So I'm thinking at least 60K for sure.
Okay, so you said your ARV is 180,000,
Yep.
and this is a secondary market. So just me, you know the market better than me, but just me, if I knew a secondary market, I'd say we should run those numbers at 65%. With 60,000 in rehab, I'm gonna guess your dispo price is around 57,000.
Very close.
Okay. So you get it under contract at 45K. You've already seen the property, so you took photos at that appointment.
Yep. Got pictures. Yep.
You've already got your photos ready. You don't need to send a photographer out. You turned it into title. Any
Yep.
can of worms open up after that?
There were a couple of things that came up during title. One, we had to get we had to get all his wife's stuff, obviously, which was fine. And there was some kind of lien or something from a while back that ended up getting wiped, but it held us up for a little while. But nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Yep.
You turned it in title. You have a clean title report. How do you market this still for dispo?
I send it out to some buyers that I know buy in the Raleigh area. And I send it out at like maybe 65.
This is when you say send out, you're just texting buyers that you know personally off of your phone?
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is great. I just want people to understand how did you dispo this?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm texting buyers that I know buy in the area. Hey, got this deal, 65,000. Here are pictures. I got the bedrooms, bathrooms. It was 4-bedroom, 2 baths, something like that. 1,600 square feet. Here we go. Pictures. Here you go. Let me know what we can do. Right. And I'm getting feedback. Most of the feedback was from a few of the buyers and these are good buyers too. Hey, those ceilings look low. I don't want to deal with that. Too much work. Like, buyers are starting to get extremely picky with
Mhm.
a lot of work houses. I don't know if you've seen that in Texas as well, but
Yeah,
those just like, you know, even if they're lived in, right? Like, and they just need a ton of work, they need pretty much everything. Buyers are starting to get a lot more picky about those. They don't want them as much because it takes time, man. It takes a lot of time, and money is expensive right now. Are you seeing something similar in your markets?
yeah. No, I was gonna say that exact thing, and that's what I was gonna say is that's exactly why is because right now the market, like it has been, is unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
People certainly don't want to be getting tied up for a 3, 4, 5 month project.
Yep.
And we just see what's going on in America right now. We're about to go through an election. Biden
Yep.
just dropped out. Trump is getting shot at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Who
as an
knows?
investor, bro, who would want to bet on the American economy over a long range right now?
Yeah.
These deep rehabs people are running from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it for sure. Even before that last week of everything that happened, but yeah, it's slowing down right now.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So that was most of the feedback I was getting. Hey, too much, too much rehab. I don't want to deal with it. He's got these freaking tenants in here. We don't know when they're leaving. This, that, and the other thing, right? So, um, and the tenants were. I think it was making like 1,800 a month though, renting it room to room, right? So it was making a lot of money. It was just in
Yeah.
bad shape. so we we go through that negotiation. I'm like, all right, well, time to go to my next strategy, right? Which is one of my favorites. I'll give you one guess as to what I did, if you'd like to take a shot.
Okay, wait, hold on. Explain the context, Ned.
All right. I sent out to my buyers that I already have that I know are buying in the area. Nobody's really biting on it, not getting a lot of interest, right? So what do you think my next move was after striking out with my current buyers?
You called Luis.
Hey, shout out to Luis. Man.
Am
That
I
would have
wrong?
been a good move though, for sure.
I don't know what you did. What did you do?
Would have been a good move, and that's a phenomenal guess because that is my dog. But on this one, there was a comp around the corner that
Okay.
sold for 185 or something. So I called the guy that flipped that. And he was like, "Yeah, I just bought one over there. Let's see."
Yeah, I
What
thought you would have done that in the beginning, but okay.
I
Well,
was
talk
ready.
to your best buyers. So you called the comp, the guy
Yep.
that bought a property in that same neighborhood, and
Yeah.
he was interested.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, dude, I just did one over there. Love that area. So the price, I mean, it's maybe a little high. I'm like, where do you think you probably need to be though, based on the pictures? He's like, probably more like 57,000 or something like that, right? He might have said 60,000, right? I'm like, okay, sounds good. Let's get you out there so we can take a look.
Yeah.
And while this is happening, right, tenant dies. One of the tenants dies. R.I.P. to him.
I could not have predicted your next line.
You didn't see that coming. Yeah, you didn't see that coming. Neither did I. So one of the guys out of here. See you later. Dies in the house, right? While this is going on. So Matt calls me.
Do you have any idea how? Like,
No, I don't know how he died. I think he was just old. Everybody in there was old. They were all paying him off of like Social Security checks, basically.
okay.
Right. So he's like, they pay every month because I mean, as soon as that check get there, I live right next door. Right. I'm walking over there, you know what I mean, to get my money same day, right? Go to the bank, whatever, write me a check right now, right?
But Mac is trying to get out of the business before his tenants do.
Yeah.
Everybody's aging out. Okay.
For real. So tenant dies. So that's kind of crazy. And he gets taken out and all that's fine. So now I'm updating the buyer. Hey, now it's only making
There's one vacancy.
yeah. You got a vacancy right now. And he had leases and everything, so that was good, right? He had leases for everybody. So we're like, all right, cool. So we get that cleared away, squared away. I'm like, is he okay? Is family okay? Yeah, it's fine. Let's keep it moving. All right, cool. So we get I get in there. His name's Jonathan. I've shown him a couple of deals now, but we go in the house, takes a look. He's like, this is rough, but I like this area. So he ends up offering 55,000 for it. After seeing it, I tried to negotiate with him a little bit, but we ended up settling at 55,000, clean 10K. And what actually came up in the initial title search, everything was fine. He had a little lien. But then there was a judgment from like 30 years ago, a bank that had gone out of business or something.
Can't run forever, Mac.
Ain't run forever, Mac. But the bank had gone out of business. So
I wonder why.
Yeah, for real. Because Mac's not paying. So that set us back 30 days because we had to send a letter to the bank or whoever. The attorney had to send a letter to somebody, right? Saying, hey, if you don't respond to this in 30 days, this is going to be considered null and void. This is falling off his record, basically. This lien is no longer valid.
Cool.
So we sent that letter out to whatever bank that was or whoever owned them or bought them or whatever. Obviously, we did not get a response for 30 days, so now we're clear to close. Mac was furious, though, when this came up. He's like, I've been through this thing. I told them people, he was furious about this shit. I had to go back to his house over this because he's like, I got the documents. I went to court about this, blah, 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 blah. And he, gives me this stack of documents. I'm like, all right.
It got nothing to do with me, Mac.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but, this is what we got to do. So I told him, hey, it's going to be 30 days. He wasn't happy about it. He was like, fine, it is what it is. We waited 30 days. Nobody answers. And this was actually a deal where I actually got paid. I wouldn't suggest this, guys, just so we're clear. But I got paid outside of the deal on this because my attorney wanted me to double close because of some of the rules that are changed in North Carolina. He wanted me to double close because they're getting iffy about assignments, I think, in North Carolina. A lot of attorneys still do them, but this particular attorney was like, I don't really want to do that. So I told my buyer, hey, look, are you good to, send a wire for closing costs and, the $55,000, and then you just send me a, extra 10, or excuse me, $45,000. You send me the extra 10, the separate wire. He's like, yeah, it's perfectly fine with me. And we did it like that, same day, and boom, 10K.
I love it. So a couple questions. Let's just go back because I know someone watching this is just gonna wonder about it. So when the tenant passes away, how did that delay the closing, if it did at all? And then did you? Because I honestly don't know this. Did you have to inform your buyer? Is that a state law for North Carolina that, hey, if someone has passed away in the home, did your buyer have any reaction to it? Was it just normal business, or how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really delay us. I mean, when Mac called me and told me about it, he's like, second words were, we're not going to – this isn't going to hold us up. Like, he's like, hey, Bobby died, but, paramedics got him out of there, cleaned his room out. So I'm like, damn, are you okay? He's like, oh, I'm fine. Bobby lived there for a long time, but, he was getting old, had high blood pressure, and, I'm like, all right. And so, I told my buyer. My buyer's like, damn, is everybody okay? I'm like, yeah, apparently everybody's fine. It's not going to hold us up, So, yeah, it was a shock to me, and it was a shock to the buyer as well, but it did not affect the closing very much. I mean, he let us know, and he kind of handled it and sent us all on our way. So, yeah, that's how that happened.
And then for the 1 month delay,
yep.
Was your buyer cool hanging on that long? How did you even inform him about that?
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, I told him, hey, here's the situation with title. We've got this old loan that is from 30 years ago. My attorney says we got to write this letter. We got to wait 30 days in order to, let this fall off. And once it falls off, we can close. He said, okay, it's fine. He was cash, so it didn't really matter to him whether we were, today or 30 days from now. He actually was like, it actually works a little better. I'm working on another flip right now. That happens all the time too, right? So they'll give me a little more time to offload that. A question for you though, bro. What are you seeing in terms of where does the cash stop generally? Like, I see it in North Carolina, for instance, like if it's over like 100K, people aren't, maybe 150, people aren't really using cash to buy it. It's mostly hard money. Are you seeing something similar in Dallas, or is there nothing that cheap?
I would say it's like 250 to 300 range. Like I got an offer today for 210 cash, can close tomorrow. And that ARV on that one is like 325, and he's offering 210, can close ASAP.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Maybe I don't do a lot of deals in Raleigh. Raleigh, a lot of the ARV is a little lower where I'm doing some of these deals. So maybe that's the reason.
What um what was your buyer going to do? Is he a fix and flip buyer or buy and hold?
Fix and flip for sure. So he was there was like a few months left on the leases, but he's like they're paying. So he was like, I'll keep the leases, keep them in there until the leases are up and get them out and fix and flip that thing. Get it out of
Okay.
here. I've got a question here on my Instagram. Are attorneys required to disclose assignments to sellers in North Carolina? No, as of right now, that's not a part of the law. They don't have to tell them, hey, this is an assignment. I mean, it's on the HUD, right? As an assignment fee, but they're not required to disclose, what exactly it is, I guess you could say. So you don't have to worry about that. Most sellers that I've dealt with don't seem to really care also.
I love it.
Yeah.
Malik, our guy, put 2 goats. I think he's talking about you and I. I would add a third goat for Malik.
Yeah.
Malik, if you're still watching, you got to get on here, bro. We got to do a deal or send Charles a deal in North Carolina. He'll dispo it for you. We can bring him on here. Okay, so you beautiful. So you had a 30-day delay. You got it closed out just fine. 10K profit. Mac was happy. So what is your, because I told you before this call, I'm trying to improve my systems and processes. What is your post-close process? Has anything happened with Charles and his seller and his buyers after that, or is it closed and then you're out of there? You probably don't talk to the seller again. You hope the buyer profits, but you don't ever really know. What does it look like for you after close?
The biggest thing, man, is once the seller gets their money, not on the closing day, whatever they're going to wire, if they're going to check, whatever, once the seller gets their money, I always ask for a review. That's something I just started doing recently, though, because it looks good, man, to have a Google page and you've got Google reviews on there. So I'll always ask, hey, can you just send me an honest review, like put an honest review of your services, whether it's good or bad, give me an honest review of how this went for you. And there's something about sellers that just received a wad of cash that it's always positive. No matter what happened in the process, it's always positive, right? So that's the biggest thing I do with the sellers. And then with the buyers, no, not very often do I check in on how the deal is going. I'll keep an eye on it, like on Zillow here and there. If I remember an address from, let me go just see what. And I've seen some profits from those guys. So
yeah. You're like, I missed on ARV, didn't I?
yeah, I was a little off on that one, So yeah, no, it's that's pretty much and then divvying up the money in a responsible way. Those are the things I do post. Yeah. What about you? Do you do anything specifically right now?
I mean, not really. I'll send congratulatory text to my JV partner. Hey, we got it done. Same thing to my buyer. Hey, I really appreciate you. Good luck. And then I need to do reviews though, because I don't get reviews. I've gotten reviews before, and it certainly helps, especially for me in the dispo side. I mean, nobody believes me until they see the track record or hears about it.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Something I would maybe add to your seller is get the review, and then also, hey, do you have anybody that that might be looking to sell as well?
Absolutely.
Same thing, bro. At that same time, they're feeling so high about you that they'll recommend you, no doubt, if they have somebody in mind. And then you just picked up a free deal.
I definitely need to start asking that when I ask for the review, because it is a very powerful question at the end of the day.
For sure. Okay, I love it. So what is your biggest takeaway from this deal?
My biggest takeaway, man, to be real with you, is just go on the appointment, man. I feel like there's such a stigma around virtual wholesaling, and there should be, because it's amazing. You can do it from anywhere. It's very cool. But especially when you're doing this and you're just starting out, if you're wholesaling in your home market, guys, go on the appointments, man. Even if you're not wholesaling in your home market, if you know somebody that's wholesaling in your home market, ask if you can go with them on an appointment, something, right? Because it makes a huge difference when it comes to getting deals. The sellers trust you more. There's nothing that's going to ever beat the face-to-face, interaction you can have with a seller with one of their biggest assets, man. So that's definitely the biggest thing that I can take away from this, because over the phone, I probably could have gotten it done, but not at a lower price. So I had to go back and get a reduction most likely. and there wouldn't have been as much trust there when it came down to, hey, we got 30 more days, we got this, lien that popped up, we got this loan that popped up, right? We got a tenant that's died. There's a lot of trust that was built with me being able to go and sit in that living room with him and just to him for 30 minutes about what he had going on, and kind of break down that wall. He had it wasn't a crazy wall. He wasn't being super rude or anything. He just had a wall up, as most people should in this situation, right? And just helps you break down that wall and get to know that seller and really see how you're helping them. So that's the biggest thing I took away from this for sure.
I love it. Yeah, and the thing that I would say, and it applies to what you were saying, is love the one you're with, but what that means is the one. Like, don't treat everybody like they got to go through the same streamlined process. Like, if you're just like, no, all I do is make calls, and you just lose out on $10,000 profit, which to pay for 2-3 months of your overhead. So this was an older seller who was more direct on how he wanted this deal to go. And so long as you're comfortable with it, which why wouldn't you be comfortable with going to an appointment?
Right.
You go out there, you differentiate yourself from the other people who are just staying on the phone, and you're able to get that deal at a cheaper price. Because again, it's much more difficult to look you in the eye and say this is cosmetic repairs, and you're looking at the
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
So,
Sure.
That's what sticks out to me is you got to deal with the person that you're with and how they want it to go. You can be flexible to some of this stuff. So I love it, bro. A 10K profit on a deal that was fairly simple in terms of how it had to go. You had a few hiccups, but it's all things that you've dealt with before and that you can get to the finish line. Anything else you want to share?
Nah, man, just the usual, man. Keep dialing, keep talking to sellers, keep listening to other people talk to sellers, right? A huge way to get better at it. And man, there's always going to be deals out there, bro. The one thing I do want to do, I kind of want to, this is random. I know we didn't talk about this before, but I think in the next 30 days, bro, we need to get a 50K pop on this thing, man. Like, I feel like it's been a while since we had a big deal.
A big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a 50K pop that I can bring up. I've got a 25.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We got to go get one. That's what I'm saying. And the next month, not necessarily that we have to do the live on it in the next month, but let's get one locked up in the next month. Man.
Well, I hope all of my JV partners and potential JV partners are listening to this. Bring me the big deals. I'll maximize our profit. It might be at 30K. I'll get it to 50K. Don't worry about that.
There you go.
But bring the deals. And if you're a motivated seller in North Carolina, call Charles.
Man. Help me make 50K if you're a motivated seller in North Carolina.
Some equity to Charles, and he'll make it quick and smooth.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. This is a good one. Next week we'll be on with probably my guy John. We just closed out a hoarder home in San Antonio.
Cool.
He had to get in front of it, hire some movers, help him get it out, cleaned out before the buyers would even want to buy it. Yeah. And we had a couple hiccups there, so it'll be a good one. We'll see everybody next Monday at 5 o'clock Standard Central Time.
Peace from love. Peace from love.
I haven't ended it yet. There it goes.
No, that was peace from